We the Fans is the #1 sponsor in battle rap. My name is Frank White, and I probably contributed to some of your favorite battles. I mean, in the last 4 years, I donated $222,000 to battle rap for the culture. Check out We the Fans Global on Instagram for the full catalog of battles I sponsor. And follow We the Fans Global on YouTube to watch full battle breakdowns from a sponsor's perspective and a recommendation for what battles should be booked next. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and keep stepping into your greatness. We the Fans is for the culture.
We here with Jay Smo the GOAT. What's going on, Smo?
Oh, what's popping with you, man? Happy to be here. Happy to be talking some raps, man.
Let's go. Let's get to that. You know how we do over here. Strictly the raps. I appreciate you making time for this conversation.
Absolutely.
All right. So the first drop from Outside 6 was Tay-Rock versus Mike P. We'll just start there. All right. Tell me what your thoughts are on the battle. We'll talk about how we had the battle. How do you call it?
I ended up calling the battle. First watch, I actually had Mike P 2-1, which looks like a little debatable battle in my opinion, no matter what. But I've seen a little bit more people talk about Rock 1, but I think it comes down to the second, no matter how you call it. And on the rewatch, I had Rock edging out the second, and I think part of that, has to do with time a little bit. He wrapped up. Then there's a little bit of talk. A minute, 2 minutes over. We know Rock's been clipped the last few years. Like that's just how he raps. But when it's a little bit of a longer round and the quality's still there, like if you have dry spots, it could lose you the round. You know what I mean? But when it's 5 minutes of really good raps or 4 minutes of really good raps, even though I thought Mike's second was really good, I edged it to Rock. But I think they split the other 2 rounds clear. And if somebody got Mike P 2-1, I'm not tripping. I think it's the best battle I've seen this year, to be honest with you.
Yep, I think I called it the exact same way. Me personally, I had Rock first clear, I had Mike third clear, and then I got Rock edge in the second. So I got Tay-Rock 2-1. There's a couple things we should talk about that battle. First and foremost, Tay-Rock was clipped up as usual, as you just said. And I feel like going into a battle with Tay-Rock, you kind of need to know that. Like he's done that so many times now that it's like, if you're not clipped up going into a Rock battle, that's kind of on you. But to be fair, I feel like Mike P stuck to the time limits and had excellent material every round. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I think he even said he did a really good interview with 3 Letterman after the fact too. Talked about a few different things. But as for his, I think he said he rapped like 30, 40 seconds over the time limit. And I mean, I didn't feel like outside of the first, Mike P's first, I don't really like. It's the only round of the battle. It's not even like bad, but it's just kind of light, given the occasion. But his second and his third don't feel like short rounds. You know what I mean? Like they feel, and then also he was mad efficient. Like especially his third is just haymakers from almost like the first 4-bar setup, like then till the end of the round. So like it's one of those things where Rock's going to be Rock. Like it's not going to change. I mean, we watched him rap 11-minute rounds versus Big K. So there's nothing. He didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it was a really good battle. And I think the fact that it's still debatable too, it doesn't make it like it's not like he rapped 8 minutes per round. Now it's ruining the footage or the rewatchability. I'm not like a battle of the year leader contender. It's too early for all that. But
we're not doing that anymore. Not at the beginning of the year.
I do think it's the best battle I watched so far this year. And I didn't know how I thought it'd be good, but it was overdue. How many times has it been almost booked? It's got its whole storyline of almost happening that sometimes those battles are like kind of dragged out. You don't really get the product. This is probably as good as the battle would have ever been. Like in any
yeah, I agree. I don't think it disappointed at all. I think we got what we wanted. I think they were both really good. I really love Mike's third. That might be one of my favorite Mike P thirds. He was just so effective, just back to back to back in the third. And Rock's second was phenomenal. I didn't like Mike's first that much, but he didn't disappoint in any of the rounds. Mike showed up and did what he was supposed to do. I just think he put up the most points in that third. Salute to both. I like this battle. I got it Rock 2-1. I don't see a world where people say Mike 2-1, but I'm sure somebody will. But I would just say that it's a good battle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and I want to, I think Mike P, it's something I wanted for this year when I did my little wish list video for 2026. I thought URL bringing back talents like that they've worked with before, and people have always kind of said that, but it seems like it's a good time for it. And you see Mike P comes back, and the Eunice battle, I think, is like a successful venture. Like, I think that's a great debut.
Yeah.
Really a good look for both battlers in that situation. And this is another one where it's a really good look, no matter who you got winning for both battlers in that situation. And that now it's been so many years since he's been on URL. There's so many fresh matchups that Mike could like have
100%.
Mike versus Jay the
100%.
Nightwing. I know he wants to battle Rum Nitty. I don't know if Mike's ever battled Loso, but like you just get to thinking like there's a ton of
There's
different
just so many endless opportunities. And I
so
do want to say this.
it could be
I'm
really
happy
big.
Mike is back. Super
Absolutely.
happy. I think it's a great addition. I'm hoping we get Mike, Ill Will, and Big K this year. Those three people to be the returning battlers. But salute to Mike. He did not disappoint. I had him beating Eunice. So having a debatable battle with Rock is you're doing great. You're on track. You know what I'm saying? You're back on track. And enough can't be said about how consistent Tay Rock is. I think he's the epitome of consistency. This guy is just
I think
ridiculous.
he's the best ever. So it's kind of tough because battle to battle, like I give him his praises, but then it's like I can't really give him any higher compliments than we have in the past. And I will say this feels like the year he won champion of the year. He did so many great things, but he did have a couple of losses in the year, and people like rightfully so. If you want to critique that, like kind of harped on that. A couple of those were like 3-0 losses. Last year I don't really know if anyone's got him losing a battle. Like
the only battle I have Rock losing last year is Bizzo, and that was a 1-rounder.
So and then you get to this year's probably the closest fight in a 3-rounder. I feel like someone's given Rock in a minute. Maybe Jay was pretty close too. So it's just one of those where he's just a great battle producer. Like you go through his footage, win or loss, like how much more of it is good than bad? This is all he does.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah,
he's the GOAT. He's the fucking GOAT. Salute to Mike, salute to Rock, and salute to Mike as well. But yeah, Tay Rock is just that consistency is ridiculous. All right, so now we get to this next battle. I actually, I'm probably sure he's tired of me saying this, but I actually talked to Beasley about this battle. I'm not gonna say what his thoughts were, but I didn't understand the public. I didn't understand how people received this battle. My theory is that there's a resistance to new talent. And I know you're going to say I'm running my narrative. I can already see the words forming in your head. But I feel like there's a slight resistance to new talent. I don't think Justise did poorly. I think Justise did well. And I think that he got the first round and then Drugz got the other two. So I have Drugz 2-1. I'm going to do recaps on both the battles we're talking about now. But I do have... I have Drugz winning the battle. I think it's a phenomenal return for Drugz. Return to form. He did everything he was supposed to do, plus more. We're just seeing a really good pace for Drugz right now. The Preem battle was amazing. This battle, he's amazing. Some incredible Justise flips. But I don't understand how a lot of the recaps I'm seeing are saying Justise got 30'd. What are your thoughts on Justise versus Drugz?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely one of those that had it 3-0. I do think I actually flipped it, and I know France, shout out France, we were debating because he's like, the third isn't debatable. I think that's the debatable round. I think I had Jugs in the first clear, and I'm seeing some people, have conversation about that. And I thought in the third, I thought Justice was pretty good. I didn't like his rebuttal to the third round angle. I thought that was the only bad part.
He's got some work to do on the rebuttal front.
No, I don't. I wouldn't say resistance to new talent because I don't even think Justice was bad for real. I don't think he was great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he lost. That's not good. But I thought his second was really fire. And I think Drugz just had the round of the battle. So it's unfortunate when your best round is paired up against what's going to be the best round of all the footage. But that was, and then I don't think his third is bad. Like I said, I think he just lost. And I think this is part of being a new talent on URL. And I think just because people got you losing, it has nothing to do with hate or resistance. You might have just lost. You might that do happen. You know what I mean? I remember because Wusa, I felt I had a little back and forth with Justise about this. I remember Wusa when I had him losing his first few battles on URL, it was the same type of scenario. And then Wusa went on to go on a 4-battle streak. And I thought it was a real good moment for him. And for Justise, he did really good against Hansel and Lou and named opponents. So this is, I think, just getting adjusted to veteran opponents on one of the toughest and most experienced stages that you're going to be on. It's the URL stage. So I don't think this is going to, I think he's going to have better days. I think I told you about this. I just think that Drugz was better than him in that battle. And that's kind of the storyline of the battle, returning Drugz to URL, at least motivated. And he's got more experience in the game. So I had it as I guess you could say a gentleman's 30. And it's just something for Justise to build on and something for Drugz to be happy about because I think he'll be back in rotation a little more often over there. So
I do hope so too. I think it's not consensus, but a lot of his peers that I've spoken to and some of the reviews I've seen do have him getting 30. And I don't know. I just felt so strongly that Drugz first was his weakest, and Justise won that first pretty clear to me.
First.
Yeah, I felt like Justice got that first. So, but I mean, neither here nor there. I do think he got a very good Drugz, which happens to the best of them. I also think something needs to be said about when you're making that adjustment, when you're going from new talent to this spotlight, you do have to learn to take criticism in stride, you know? And I think it's not just to Justice that this applies to, but a lot of talents, when they get in that limelight, when they get in that position, they struggle with the heavy criticism. Now, you know, on the flip side of this thing, imagine you're putting your heart and soul into something, and then you got to hear 30,000 people tweeting you, commenting, and, you know, bashing the hard work that you have. I can understand feeling defensive about it. Is that fair to
No,
say?
I'm always with it. I'm not even I'm mad at Justice's reaction to it for real. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think all battlers, I think we forget some of our legends and favorites, you know what I'm saying, would bitch and moan constantly in the beginning. Like battlers complaining after losses or saying, no, I didn't, the fans are tripping.
Yeah,
Like that's actually
yeah,
just part of the game. That's
yeah,
it probably was a bigger thing before than it is
yeah, yeah,
now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I have
yeah.
no I got no issue with the back and forth of it. Like I
Okay.
just call the battle the way I call the battle.
Okay.
And people have their opinions on it afterwards. So you know,
Okay.
the
So,
art.
but you definitely stand by him losing all 3 rounds.
I'll fuck with you, Frank. Yes, I do stand by him.
Okay. 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 All right. So, salute to Justice. A tough break, but you know, just get ready to make the next one clearer. I guess you know what I'm saying. Make the next battle more clear, so you don't have to deal with this.
One of the best prospects from his class. I mean, you know what I'm
I
saying? So,
agree.
you know, he's going to keep getting reps. I want to see what he does.
My prayer and hope is that next Monday we get Kid Chaos versus Rum Nitty.
Yeah, that'd be the one. And I
I
think
need that.
what were the people saying? Top 5 Rum Nitty ever. Probably, I'm gonna guess that's a little exaggerated.
Brother,
But if
that's the propaganda you've been waiting for.
oh wow, this is crazy. See, but you can't it can't be every performance is life changing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that this will be a high level Rum Nitty, and that's always fun footage to watch. And now there's even talk. Nitty's been busy. He's got Preem tonight. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably the hardest battle he's had this year. We heard the chaos shit is good, and then him and Jay Mills. It looks like that's going to be the next thing. Back and forth Mills is getting into. So we'll see how that turns out. But
Mills is on a kill streak right now. I don't want to see Nitty.
Mills did a blog too, talking about it, and he actually was like, "I'd say, you know, talk to shit the way he should," but was also kind of just saying like, "Hey, like the way that y'all would feel if I said I want a 3-round battle with Nitty, like on the stage, is the way I feel when he says he wants to like go back and forth like on wax." And I kind of respect that because it's like Mills not walking around. I know he's been saying he's Cody or whatever, but he's saying like, "Look, I know what it is in the ring, and we know what it is, but he's got his lane with this." You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be no champion of the year or nothing, but this is incredible what Mills is doing. And he ate shit for a lot of years. So if he want to pop his shit and kill some of our favorite on wax because he's a much better recording artist, I give more power to Mills, man. So
I salute it too, because you know, Mills been recording for 20 years now, 20 some years. So it's like
people forget what's the saying, and I'm not saying this apply to Mills directly, but like the worst player in the league is still better than like the best player in the G League. Like people will say something like that.
Oh man,
it's hard to be a pro. You know what I mean? Like it don't mean have to have. And Mills had success, but you don't got to be some multi-platinum recording artist to still be like very, very good at what he does. And I think people forget about that just because he, you know, it didn't translate the same acapella. But he said Nitty gonna be his hardest fight yet. So you know, we'll see about that.
It should be interesting. I think a lot of people may not be familiar with the history with Jay Mills. He was, you know, out in the streets battling way back when. He has an incredible battle with Mook. He has incredible battles on the Making the Band show. He's got he had a record deal. I think he signed with it was a label called One to Blow back in the day, and then he got with Cash Money as well. He had singles on radio. So this is somebody who's very well versed in the booth. And that counts for something because you know,
that, bro. Like it's just different. I say like on wax compared to acapella battle rap is like a UFC compared to boxing.
It's a whole different world.
Fight at a professional level, but if you ever see a boxer go to UFC or UFC go to you, it's not the same sport though. Like it's played very different. There's a reason people dedicate themselves to that part of the craft. I 100% agree, man. And Mills is reminding people like, yo, like I am Jay Mills. Like, let's not think it's so sweet that I can't even like rap on wax no more because it's not that.
Yeah, I agree. And as of right now, I enjoyed what DNA did. I enjoyed one of Good's joints. I enjoyed Verb. I enjoyed Jack. But I haven't seen anybody clear Jay Mills yet. I have him winning all of the on wax battles that he's
DNA the
engaged
best
in. Is
fight
that fair to say?
yeah, DNA the best fight you think that hit that someone
The best fight, I don't know if I could quantify the best fight, but I will say that I enjoyed DNA's. I can't remember the title of it, but he was in a Sprinter van rapping. I enjoyed Goods. He had a couple songs. I enjoyed Jack's first response. I enjoyed Verb's song. Like I enjoyed what people did, but I didn't have anybody clearing Mills. I think
Yeah,
Mills
well,
is undefeated.
Herb got it the worst. He put up no fight, but I think Magic also. I think Magic also had a pretty good. This I know it was a little too late, but that cemetery music, whatever it was,
Oh
like
yeah, the cemetery music and Big Homie from Magic were really good. Yep, I agree. I
but
agree.
yeah, nobody, but no one's made it like even a debatable thing yet. So we'll see.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
leadership committee is it's a different type of fight. We'll see what he does.
We shall see. I know you're the head of the Nitty Committee, so let's see how it goes. I know you got faith.
Now, I might as well lean into it, man, because you say everything. Now I'm gonna show you what real propaganda look like. If we
Okay. The next card I want to talk about, it's not the full card hasn't been announced yet, but I do want to highlight this card because it's just some amazing announcements. I'm not going to go in the order they were announced in. I'm going to go in the reverse order. Let's start with Geechee Gotti versus Real Sick. Where are you at with this announcement for King of the Dot World Domination 9, I believe?
Nah, it's crazy. I love when the series get up there. It reminds me of like in wrestling, there's been 50 something, 40 something WrestleManias and stuff like that. So it's cool to see. And you say Geechee versus Real Sick?
Yep, Geechee Gotti versus Real Sick.
All the announcements, obviously on paper, like Real Sick is fantastic and Geechee Gotti's fantastic. So there is the pathway to this being a good battle, and it's definitely worthy, like name value wise, and plus like Real Sick is already amazing, but Real Sick on King of the Dot he's in like his habitat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how else to put it. The way that he's like translates on the King of the Dot stage is like, ridiculous. But I got to worry a little bit about with Geechee just effort. It is what it is. Like I make the jokes like West Coast clips and stuff like that, but but he really does show that, particularly on King of the Dot, and particularly since he's got his passport. You know what I'm saying? Which I know he shouts them out for. He battled, obviously it's URL, but Shoddy in UK, he really didn't try. He battled Holohan over, what was that, Blackout 8. He really didn't try. He didn't have to. You know what I'm saying, for that particular battle. And then it's not the same, but even when he battled Marv 1, even feels like a similar situation, as a King of the Dot then, he didn't give a fuck versus Marv either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if the Real Sick matchup, there's no real build-up. There's no extra. I feel like he'd be needing a huge battle or like an extra reason to take something serious. So it'd be dope, and he should take it Real Sick serious. But I got Real Sick 2-1, if not 3-0. It's just a situation I could see Gotti being a little bit shaky in. But if he's the best version of himself, he could beat anybody. He's shown that.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. I'm gonna be honest with Geechee. First of all, if you want to see propaganda, you just gotta see how much I support Geechee. I think Geechee is one of the Geechee Gotti is one of the goats to me already. But I will say this: I enjoyed Geechee versus Chef Trez. I thought that was a fantastic showing. I enjoyed Geechee versus Keese. I think Geechee
He was really good versus Trez.
I thought he was very good versus Trez. I love that battle. I think that's the top 2 favorite battles from outside 5, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, Geechee Gotti is, to me, I think he understands what this battle is. I had 3 battles in my notes for Geechee to do. I had Geechee versus Trez, Geechee versus Cortez, and Geechee versus Real Sick. Those 3 were like listed as possible Geechee battles, and I'm so glad that this got locked in where it got locked in. I think there's no better place for Geechee versus Real Sick, and especially on World Dom like this, I think it's just fantastic. I think Geechee understands what he's up against. I think Real Sick has been executing at such a high level, from the Nitty battle to the Ilmac battle. Just Real Sick understands the mission, but I think that Geechee Gotti has to have one of those standout performances, especially with a battle like this on such a big stage like World Dom. And I don't know. I think we're going to see a different Geechee. I'm hoping we get the Geechee that battled Trez. I think this is going to be a debatable battle. I can't fairly say that Geechee will win, but I also can't say the real. You know what? Let me not cop out. I got Geechee 2-1.
Yeah, and I respect because the best version of Geechee is like definitely better than the best version of Real Sick. Like I'm a
But
firm
that's the
so
only version that can get it to 2-1 is the
yeah,
best
or at
version.
least something
Anything
close.
less than that,
Something close to whatever a good to great Geechee Gotti. You know,
yes.
that's how you want to put it. And he's also like I said what I said before, where he's been inconsistent, especially in like URL or even like a overseas situation or KOTD or overseas situations. But he's got good King of the Dot footage too. I mean, quiet as it's kept. I mean, him and Saint is really what got Geechee Gotti like.
That was the one that made me a Geechee fan. Yep,
How
yep,
that works out, you know what I'm saying? As a King of the Dot battle
yep,
first, then he beat
yep,
Big K on King of the Dot. He
yep.
beat
Head Ice. He had a
yeah,
phenomenal performance against Head Ice.
man, you
Yep.
whooped on Head Ice and King of the
It
Dot.
was
Very,
nasty,
very good
nasty.
performance. So it's like he clearly is given like good performances to the platform too. So it's very possible.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure consensus is going to be Real Sick 2-1 though.
Yeah, because it just seems like the picture I painted is just kind of how people feel with a lot of
Yeah,
Gotti battles that aren't like
yeah,
super matches for him. So it
yeah.
is what it is.
But I still believe, man. I still believe. So okay, so you got Real Sick 2-1, I got Gotti 2-1. All right. This next battle, I'm gonna be honest. This is a very dangerous battle for one of the people in this battle. I'm kind of shocked they accepted the battle. Jazz the Rapper versus A Ward. I'm gonna be honest. This is a dangerous battle for Jazz, in my opinion.
You think so? Tell me how you feel
I
about it first, man, because I think I got a different opinion on this battle.
I really feel like this is a dangerous battle for Jazz. A Ward is very lethal on KOTD. I could go on and on. You know, Real Sick, Sharon. A Ward is just a different beast when he's on King of the Dot, and I think he understands some. Sometimes the setting is everything, and for this kind of setting, I have A Ward with kind of the upper hand. Jazz is a tactician, though, huh?
I agree. I 100% agree with that point.
Yeah, Jazz is a tactician. Jazz is a tactician. I don't want to take that away from her. She's great with strategy, but in this setting, I got A Ward winning 2-1 very clear. But I also think Jazz knows that from that Arsenal loss, she's got to rebound and do what she's supposed to do. So this is going to be a very competitive battle. I'm excited, but I got A Ward 2-1.
Yeah, has she not battled since the Arse battle?
I have not seen it since the Ars
Or
battle.
maybe I don't know when the on beat battle with Reed happened. I know that they dropped
No, that it happened, but they dropped it
I
recently.
didn't know if that was before the Arse joint or not though. It's one of
But
those.
she was amazing in that, by the way. If
Yeah,
you know.
they're both like world class. So like the battle could go either way. I'm also going to go Ward 2-1, and you really said a lot of the points for it. Like the setting, I think is more like leaning, and we're more comfortable for A Ward, who has a whole catalog on King of the Dot, a very good and successful catalog at that on King of the Dot, and he's one of the best versions of himself. I think like we throw words like contender for things around a lot. He's like a real champion of the year contender for this past year. Like I think he's like had one of the best years in battle rap. So I'm just taking all that and just betting on that to continue, but I don't like this battle. It's really nothing to do with them specifically. Like I just spoke on, I think Jazz is the greatest female ever, so my praises for her already spoken for. Just don't like the matchup. To me,
Really?
there's just a randomness to it. They're both all around talents, so there is that aspect where it could just end up being, but I just have no draw for it. It's nothing I've ever like really wanted that. But I know it's gotten like now that it's booked, I can say I know that it's been floated around a lot. There's a few different cards throughout the last few years that it could have landed on. And I was just always one of those where it has nothing to do with either of them. I just don't see like the convo being that crazy or anything like that.
Really?
Better matchups for both. Yeah. So that's just, but I still think like there's a chance that it could objectively be a good battle. And it's just not a battle for me. Like that's just that music is like that. Battle rap can be like that. So nothing against the artist, but it's not one I'm too excited for.
I'm not mad at that. I've seen a couple people say that this feels very random. Of course, Yoshi G was very outspoken about this battle.
We don't got to hear what Yoshi G has to say.
Yeah, but salute to Yoshi G. But
that's when it gets taken too far. I don't want to be like I'm on that side of things. I like it.
I want to say that like just from the perspective of two very strategic battlers. To me, that's what's exciting because I think Jazz is a strategist and A Ward is a strategist, and seeing what approach each of them takes will be very interesting to see. And I think that they're both competitive. They're not as vocal about how competitive they are, but you can just tell that these are two people who want to win. So that I think alone will make for a great battle. I'm very, very excited to see what approach each of them takes. A Ward is. I got A Ward as like my number 2 option for champion of the year for 2025 right now. I personally got it between Rock, Ward, maybe Loso. I might even throw Nitty in the mix, Real Deal. But I think A Ward did such a great job in 2025. I don't see him slowing down on that momentum, you know?
I
Um,
agree.
so. Oh,
So,
you're not gonna. Once I said champion of the year, you weren't gonna say nothing else.
well, no, when it comes to that, you know that my hands are tied in terms of how much I can
Mm-hmm.
talk on it. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, like I agree with the form that he's in, and then on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
he's so far like 2 for 2 on URL. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
have him winning both of those battles, and both
I
of
did
them
too.
were impactful. You know what I'm saying? You can probably say
Yeah.
both good performances, even a great performance in my opinion versus Jack. And I'm sure that he's not done there. Like he's a workhorse type of guy.
Oh no, I had him 1-1. I had him 1-1. You had him beating Jack?
Yeah, I had him be. Oh, you had Jack. Of
Oh,
course you
I
did
had
though.
Jack. I had Jack.
I know you were about Jack Boy though. You know, Jack, man. You know what I'm saying? But I
That's
did
funny
see
as
Jack.
hell.
I remember I had that being like a lot of people had it so lopsided going in. I thought it was a good matchup for Jack, and I do think Jack was like really, really, really good.
I think we got a really good Jack there.
But that's what you've gotten from A Ward so far. The T-top joint on Summer Madness, and then you get the Jack Boy one, and he's a high volume type of guy. I don't know if he'll battle 20 times, but I wouldn't be surprised if he battles 4 or 5 more times on URL. So he might be setting up for another like really good year this year.
I'd love that. I think A Ward is we're seeing another wave of A Ward's good run, and I'm hyped. I'm hyped because I just think
A Ward to URL, Mike P to URL. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's just looking good.
Fresh matchups that now on Gnomes and SNMs people, you know. I think that they already have dropped some really good, exciting lineups. I like both their lineups last year, whether they panned out or not. But you know that there's a little bit of freshness that fans like to see, and I think like Ward being on URL provides that. So
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I'm very happy for that happening.
And he's still at the king of the dot. So you know what I'm saying.
Yep. And I love. We're gonna see how this goes. I like this battle a lot. This next one though, I wish Organic had let me know sooner. My schedule was crazy because I've already I agree to battles like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months out, and I wish I would have been involved in this battle.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, Disaster versus Sharon. This means something to me. This is history to me. I don't care. There seems to be I don't even want to get into it. Me personally, I love this battle. I've been waiting for this battle, probably, no exaggeration, easily 5 to 10 years.
What does there seem to be, Frank? What does there seem to be? Is there an agenda against the battle? Because to me, it's the most. I know the main event is the main event, but I'm the most excited for this battle out of all the announcements so far.
Me too. I can't even hold back. I can't
everyone's not. We know everyone's not like big king of the dot. You know, like people per se. Like there's some people that just don't like dabble within that part of battle rap, but that's like a super huge critical piece of battle rap history. Everything the dot's done, and this 100%. Is like a legacy matchup amongst some of their goats of the platform.
100%.
The way Sharon has been wanted to battle, the form Sharon's in right now, the way Disaster has spoken down on Sharon in the past especially when he's a bit higher leveraged in the culture. You know, even though I think this battle is going to be a murder. I'm super duper looking forward to it regardless.
Murder is tough. I think this is going to be one of the toughest. I think we're going to see some phenomenal lyricism. I think we're going to see this is like a clash of titans to me. I do love Sharon and Pat. I don't know if it's going to live up to that level, but I think it's going to be one of those. Sharon's performance against Will was terrifying to me. Sharon versus Ilmac, terrifying. Like Sharon has been on just an incredible. He was always good. I think he's just reaching that great legendary status now. And I think this is the kind of battle that can really cement him in terms of king of the dot battles. This can cement him where he needs to be. But with that said, Disaster is an incredible battler. He hasn't always translated well on URL, but he has had some phenomenal battles on King of the Dot. Not to mention what he just dropped. He just battled a dude in Mexico. I can't remember the name of the battler, but that was phenomenal.
Mass too.
And he's been battling overseas. He battled in different languages. Disaster is a legend. He's on a lot of people's Mount Rushmore. Disaster, I have tremendous respect for Disaster as far as penmanship. I think he's easily a Mount Rushmore contender. He's one of the greatest of all time. So I think this is going to be an incredible battle. I saw Diz versus JC, the one rounder. I don't know if you saw that on Bad News. Bad News League. It was dope. Diz rapped his ass off for sure, but it was a cool little one rounder. But I think that was just a nice little warm up to the storm that this is going to be. This is going to be something I think is etched in history. I remember Disaster versus Dumbfounded. I remember Disaster. Like, this is just going to be one of them.
Disaster in DNA, you know what I'm saying? Like
Disaster in Iron Solomon, which is one of my favorite battles of all time. Like,
about that battle, but I'm not going to do that right here. Because I do want to show some respect, because there is no question that Disaster is a legend. And I've actually think that he is like a Mount Rushmore candidate. You know, I'm so heavy on that being like impact based, and like there is shit that like tons of stuff that Disaster was like the first to do that's like critical, you know, in terms of the global scene. And like, I'm not gonna lie to you here. Yeah, I've never been like the huge fan of his style. You know what I'm saying? But there is like, there's also like objectively good stuff, and there is like this in DNA. There is, even as the most recent that I've seen him good, because it's been bad for quite a bit of time recently. But his third round versus Easy, you even get a flash of like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason that once upon a time this guy was considered one of the best like in walking the earth when it comes to this game. But I just think he is so far removed from that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of just get bad Disaster, awful Disaster footage. You saying Disaster and Real Sick. Look at the way that turned out. And you talk about him not translating on URL. But I just don't think across the board a lot of his footage is translated in the last like 5-7 years or so. While Sharon is probably the best version of himself. And the one big thing, and why I think this is going to be a dirty 30, which a lot of Sharon battles have really been for the last year.
Dirty 30?
Yeah, the one curse for Sharon for a long time, I thought that big ranking King of the Dot legends gave him problems. Like when he got the Pat battle, you know, he's good in that battle, but like he lost. The Roan battle, like he's good, but you know, got the best of them. And the Real Deal battle, another kind of legend over there, and they borderline classic, King of the Dot classic battle, and he lost that. But after what he did to Ilmac, I have like no reserves about him in those types of matchups. And I just think he is so much better than Disaster in 2026 at pretty much every element of the game. So I think that this could really get to like body bag territory. I mean, there's always a chance that like Diz, like he is the capability of being great. And if you've ever showed that capability, you could do it again. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think Sharon is going to walk away as like the story of World Nom. I think he's going to do something really special.
Wow. That's, I can't. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Disaster 2-1 just because, and this might be a little bit of bias, but I just think Disaster is one of the most incredible battlers of all time. And in this setting, in this King of the Dot setting, he flourishes, and the barrage of lyricism, the density of material, the relentlessness. I want to see how that measures up against Sharon's punching ability. Diz has the ability to diffuse a lot of stuff Sharon does. Diz has the Maltese, the humor, the personal attacks, the style breakdown. There's just so much in Diz's arsenal that he can employ to diffuse what Sharon does. I'm gonna say Disaster 2-1. But if Sharon pulls this off, we got to talk about Sharon in a whole different. We got to change how we talk about Sharon.
I'm not calling it 2-1, so I'm not talking about possible 2-1. I got this as like 30 going in, like
30.
But I think it's gonna be Sharon probably, because there's so many battles that battle more active, more impact, and like the conversation will get mucked up. We have a lot of great battlers. Like you really look at the last like 2-3 years of work, Sharon's pound for pound like a top 5 battler in the world. Like nobody, he's battling like real opponents throughout there. Like, yo, Bill Collector, Sharon wasn't even like the best version of himself.
But he was wild.
Battle, he might have 30'd him. 2-1 at the very least. He had a great Ill Will and 30'd him. He got Ilmac, who wasn't even all that bad. 30'd him, 30 Danny Myers, like 40. 40 doesn't even really rap anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, Smoke.
So, but these are the things he's been doing to people, and these are also very like legacy like fighters as well. So it's just one of those things where that's more so the confidence in Sharon than anything. So
listen, I'm extremely hyped for this battle. I've been waiting for this battle for years, and I salute Gannett for booking it. I salute King of the Dot for every announcement just being battles I want to see. It's just a lot of thought was put into this, and they really put together. This feels like a World Dom card.
Yeah, King of the Dot outside, and these are matchups that are King of the Dot matchups. Like they
100%
wouldn't get plucked elsewhere of import. You know, all those things. Like sometimes there is battles that like fit a league, and I feel like this is like, and they have a really good, I think, theme of that where there's like King of the Dot-esque battles, and like they best when it goes down on their platform sometimes too. And all of these are great examples of that.
Very on brand. Well, now we get to the masterpiece. We get to
Main
one of the
event.
most anticipated battles of all time, I'm gonna say. I have a lot to say about this battle, so I'm gonna let you go first. We got Shotty Horror versus Tay Rock. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because obviously the last time this one was supposed to go down didn't end up too great.
Yeah.
Didn't well, far from it. You know what I'm saying? So it's you know, cooler heads have prevailed, and then I'm talking like years and years later, like they meet up on a King of the Dot. Like if you tell someone back when that situation was going down, and everyone's pulled off the card, same day, Summer Impact Reloaded. I remember all that, and you tell them, yeah, well, one day Rock's going to battle him, but they're going to headline in Canada on King of the Dot. It's just like so much time has passed, and things that sounded like absolute nonsense in 2015 is just like going to be the event of March. You know what I'm saying? Like one you get a lot of mega for all the complaints about battle rap last year or two, a lot of mega matches. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things you would have never thought would happen, but super fire battle, and it's just the right time for it. Rock's as good as ever. And then you have Shoddy where he's never like fully cooled off. Like I thought he lost to Shuffle T, but he was always really good in that battle. It just a little more dormant. Like there wasn't the matchups out there. And then the K Shine situation, for how fucking Looney Tune it was, that battle actually, for those of us that have seen it, is really, really, really good. And then
how do you call that?
So I actually had Shine 2-1, and I'm in the minority for real. I think most people got Shoddy. So like I'm not like it could go down as a Shoddy win. I personally had Shine edging the first and third, but like that wasn't expected. And look at the performance he gave. He 30s Geechee, and like, you know, I almost wish this happened like in 2025 so we could talk about him possibly making like a top 20 list. That's the only downside of this battle.
Exactly.
But it's neutral site. Like it's Rock's first time in Canada, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, like, you know, Shoddy's like he's battled in Canada before, but he's obviously not a Canadian battler. So this is as close as you'll probably get to a neutral site. But I know those Canadian fans are going to be like super excited to see Rock like for the first time live like that. But debatable battle, to keep it real with you. Like I think it could be really, really, really good. But I have this kind of formula. I very rarely bet against Tay Rock, and it works out a lot of times. So I'm going to be going Rock 2-1 edge, but you know, you could break down the X's and the O's of it. Obviously, Shoddy's a better angler, but there's a level of explosiveness, performance, and punch wise that like I think Rock can reach that Shoddy can't. Not to say Shoddy's not good at that too, but they all have their superpowers, you know. So I could even see it being something like Big K and Rock, super duper preferential battle. You know what I'm saying? One of the hardest battles I ever called since I started doing media. Like I really think it was like just two different things. It depends on what style you like. I think this could be like that. And I also think it's going to be probably the best battle of the event, back and forth wise.
Well, I'm going to start this conversation with Tay Rock is the GOAT. Tay Rock is my logo for battle rap. Tay Rock is one of the greatest of all time, point blank, period. My respect and admiration for Tay Rock goes beyond words. Most consistent, in my opinion. He inspires me to be consistent in my own life. But with all of that said, and all the respect placed on Tay Rock possible, Shoddy Horror, for me personally, when I say Loaded Lux and I say Mook, Shoddy is right there. Shoddy Horror has been, I first watched,
He's that for the UK. There's no question about it.
There's no, for me, Tony D and Shoddy, when you say Murder Mook and Loaded Lux in the US, you say Tony D and Shoddy in the UK. But with all of that said, Shoddy Horror, I watched Shoddy Horror have lose to Arts the first time, turn around and beat Arts the second time clear. I watched him beat Hitman, which nobody talks about that battle. I watched him beat a dude named Fingers on KOTD, and that's some of the best name flips writing ever that Shoddy Horror displayed. He has a bar where he says, I gotta get Ganic runs the KOTD like the Yakuza, so I gotta get rid of Fingers because I dishonored the code. One of the greatest, coldest bars of all time. Shoddy, incredible battle with Tony D. Preference debatable, but I got Shoddy against Math, having one of the greatest schemes of all time when he did the Tupac albums in the second round against Math. Shoddy Horror, what other incredible battles? Like, Daylight. Of course, incredible Shuffle T.
He beat Daylight too, and a lot of people beat Daylight.
Murdered Daylight in the US, by the way. Murdered Daylight.
Jersey, UW's got a
murdered Daylight on UW. Smoked Daylight on UW. an incredible battle with Shuffle T. I think you could argue that Shuffle T won that battle, but nonetheless, Shotty Har is one of the greatest battlers of all time.
John
Also,
too. I was trying to remember if I remember
John
that.
also ushering in Raptor, who's another one of my favorites. But with all of that said, I have the most respect for Shotty Har. I can't stress enough how in what high regard that I play Shotty Har. I have Shotty Har edging Kayshawn in the battle.
I'm on that.
Second and third.
I think a lot of people got it Shotty clear, and it was just one of those. I'm always going to give my opinion on the battle, but I like to respect what I perceive as like the vote. You know what I mean? We don't have that, but I like to look at, okay, I'm always going to have my opinion. I'm going to stand on that. But what are kind of people's like overall opinion on the battle? And a lot of people had Shotty winning that battle. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't want to make that my final ruling because I want to rewatch it when it drops on YouTube. I want to be sure. You know what I mean?
YouTube.
Once it drops on YouTube, then I'll do my final recap. But on first watch,
battle rap will be around by the time that battle drop on YouTube.
No, I think it's dropping sometime the first quarter. I believe. Don't quote me, but I believe it's dropping sometime the first quarter. I will be supporting wherever it drops because I love to see Sean become entrepreneurial. Huge K-Sean fan. And I could change my mind when the YouTube drop. I could end up looking differently, but. On first watch, I had Shotty edging the battle. But with all of that said, we're here to talk about Shotty Har versus Tay-Rock. This is a clash of titans. This is a moment in time. It's a milestone battle. I can't stress how important this battle is. With all of those things considered, Tay-Rock has skill sets that Shotty does not have. Tay-Rock voice projection is better than Shotty Har's. Tay-Rock's stage presence. Tay-Rock is beloved in a way that Shotty Har is beloved in his region. Tay-Rock is beloved that way globally. Tay-Rock is relentless. If he goes up there and raps 11 minutes, it's not going to be 11 minutes of bullshit. It's going to be hard hitting. Whatever he decides to do is going to be hard hitting. With Shotty, he's a very momentum battler. So he has to have his momentum to be going. Because once he loses that momentum, it's hard to get it back. And on cam, it can look away. But Shotty's concepts, Shotty's writing, Shotty's punching, he's elevated in that department. He's aggressive. But this is Tay-Rock we're talking about. Arguably the greatest of all time. But I'm still going to say Shotty 2-1.
Yeah, and
I'm going to stick with it.
Even though it's not a home game by any means, it does feel like I said, like the neutralist site. And I just think you got to give it. I mean, a lot of people got him beating Shotty, like as you do too, you know, are beating Shine in New York. Like it was at Shine's family reunion, basically. So like if he's able to do that in that type of setting, there's really no place I'm looking like I think he could ever be rattled or anything of that nature. And something Shotty does that I wish more battlers did. I think some of the absolute best in the world do is that. Granted, let it be a situation where they're just like mesmerized or starstruck by Rock, and he has that effect in multiple venues across, like you said, globally.
Yeah.
It's Shotty will like not let crowd reaction phase him, and he's going to rap like, let's say he was getting crickets. This will not happen, but let's say he would rap straight through it with full confidence. And I think sometimes battlers will actually have the material that you'll have your on-cam case, or you know what I'm saying, like a building's not on your side, but you can literally see the confidence leave their performance if the room is clearly swaying in a direction. And that's something that has never ever been a thing for Shotty Hora that I think is extremely useful, especially in a matchup like this where Rock can be so demanding of the crowd's attention and their love throughout the course of a battle. So you know, there's a clear path that Shotty can win this battle too.
Really it's a fight though.
Either one. Yeah,
he's in a fight for his life. Let's be clear. And he's the underdog.
He was, like I said, the best battle I've seen so far. And I think why can't Rock and Shotty, one of the last big matchups it feels like Rock has. I think people exaggerate we're running out of battles. If you really are creative minded and there's tons of big artists, like we're not really running out of battles. But for some guys, kind of, if they're going to battle 20 times a year like Rock does. So this is one of those situations where it's one of the last like big, like, you know, main event must-see type of battles for Rock.
Agreed.
And for Shotty, you know, he's on a legend run as a legend already. So
100%. And I'm gonna be honest, this is a fight. Let's make no mistake. Shotty's in for the fight of his life. He's the underdog. He's going up against. I've seen Lou Castro put up his best fight and lose. I watched Fonz put up his best fight and lose. I've watched countless battlers get up there, and even though Fonz choked, he was trying to get Rock out of
I
here.
mean,
You know what I'm
Fonz had
saying?
the best round he ever rapped in his life.
That second round that Fonz had is
Best round
no
Fonz
few
ever
people
rapped.
should ever be able to come back from that. But my point is that Rock is this immovable object, and if a betting man's money is on Tay Rock winning this battle, I'm going out on a limb and saying that I think Shotty is going to win. But make no mistake, all signs point to Tay Rock winning this battle 2-1 clear. Now, Shotty, I hope Shotty understands that. I hope Shotty goes in here and rumbles like his life depends on it, because it does. Because Tay Rock is, he's been winning these battles. He just looks like he can't be stopped. And I have Tay Rock at the #1 slot for Champion of the Year 2025. So I hope Shotty Hard knows what he's up against, because this is as high stakes as it gets.
Yeah,
And then
no,
following with the theme of
you're
World Dom,
champion.
this is UK versus USA. Perfect.
Yeah, and there's a, they've resolved it, I'm sure, because we're getting the battle, but like there's a grudge there. Like that was crazy how the UK got done. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
like once upon a time, and got done a lot of times after that, pretty bad by some
Yep.
other big artists. But it's one of those where I'm just happy that we're getting it, because it's one of those
Yeah.
we never thought we'd even get. They'd spin back on the battle. It took them 8 years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And let alone it's happening on King of the Dot. So it's a pretty cool thing, and it looks like battle rap in terms of like the actual events and stuff got to a slow start in January. So I'm hoping to see like more cards drop, volume. I'm sure like kind of those announcements are going to be around the corner, and then a King of the Dot event. So as we get towards like beginning of spring, kind of end of winter, it looks like there's just going to be like a lot of pickup in traffic, and I'm looking forward to it, man. So
I am too. Incredible battle. Salute to KOTD. Salute to Ganic. This is what World Dom is about. UK versus USA, arguably the best two from each region. This is history. And I'm gonna be honest, regardless of who wins, I'm gonna be happy the battle just happened. As long as the battle happens.
gotta be
You know
the
what I
battle.
mean?
At the end of the day, we can give our recaps results, but I have no like it's with most 99% of battles, there's no dog in the fight. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I'm rooting for the best result possible, and then we get to talk about it and hopefully debate it for weeks on from there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So salute to Ganic. Incredible. We'd be remiss if we ended this without talking about a little league. I like to give the smaller leagues, who I think are going to become one of the biggest leagues in the game. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but TOS Battle League. You heard of them?
So yeah, it's so funny because obviously I know them, Chicago League. I don't know what it stands for, but that's how it goes with the live.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to go on record to tell people what it means. As far as I know, on a street level, TOS is terminate on site. That may not be what.
There we go. Yeah, so maybe
I don't want to be the one that, you know what I mean.
But I just let them Chicago. Like I just you just put like name to like an area, and I've watched like a few of their events. I think I recapped what was that? A Ward and Truffaut? Was it TOS?
Yeah, A Ward and Truffaut, Justise and Justise. They've had some really good battles over there, and I think they're positioning themselves to be one of the best leagues in the game. They released some battles from their card. Cold Day and Hell 3. Cold Day and Hell 2 was where they had Truffaut and A Ward, which was a very good card, top to bottom. So I just want to talk about, let's say, the first 4 announcements, or maybe the first 5.
I think I've only seen one announcement.
Okay, I'm gonna run it down. You ready?
To me, yeah.
All right, so we'll go with the headliner first. Truffaut versus Jackboy Maine. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna sip some water while you talk.
Good grudge match. You know what I'm saying? Like no question about it. And I think another one where it's probably smoothed out. We remember that at the time. Piranha and Ace. A little bit more of a serious situation, and like there's some things that even if it builds up to a battle, like guys shouldn't rap through. Ace and J Moore, perfect example. Like it'd be really cool, but like the reason that the grudge is so real is because it's real, and some of those things can't be solved in the ring. But now they get to spin back for it, and it's just good. I think style wise, they just match up well. You know what I mean? Like there's a grittiness to both of their styles. Like it'll be a perfect setting for it. It always looks like their battles are shot in like dungeons, you know what I'm saying, or like warehouses. I think if I'm correct, I don't know if it was them or Smoke Room, but they shot it like at a junkyard. So like, yeah, you definitely get like the grittiness of the setting, to say the least. So I just think it's the perfect spot for it. I'm gonna go Jackboy 2-1 though. really, he's in about as good a form recently as he's been in like quite some time. I haven't had him on the
Mhm.
winning side of all these battles, but like,
Mhm.
him versus Danny, even though he's a little unclean, I thought he was
He
like
did. He did
good.
fantastic against
Like I had
Danny.
Danny clearly winning, but like I like Jack in that battle. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then with the Ward battle, I have him on the losing side, but like Jack is really, really, really good in that battle. So
Mhm.
I just think he's better than Truffaut. Like I just think like
Okay.
flat out he's just a better battle rapper than Truffaut. I think Truffaut's like solid, no pun intended, but
Hey.
it's one of those where I think Jack could even win the battle clear on the road, which is crazy to say. Not that there's no
Mhm.
path to Foe winning it, but that's how much I'm kind of like liking Jack's momentum going into this year.
I agree. Jack's got great momentum. I loved him in the Danny battle. Had him winning the A War battle. I think this is a great follow up. Um, there's a lot of history, a lot of street history with this, a lot of stuff back and forth. I love that TOS was able to quiet the noise and just get the battle booked. So I love that. Trufo's done pretty well. I enjoyed him, even though I had him losing. I'm a big fan of Trufo, and he's got great music. Street Niggas Don't Do Brunch drop in February 26th, if I believe. But seeing him in the ring is always great. In Chicago, he's always incredible too. I really enjoyed him in A Ward, so I'm very much looking forward to this Jack Boy battle. I'd have Jack 2-1. Stylistically, it's a good matchup. Their content's kind of similar. But I do got Jack winning 2-1. I'm very excited about this battle. Cold and Hell 2 was shot with this like blue hue to their footage that just amplified the quality of the battle. I hope they kind of do that again. I really enjoyed
Was
that
that the
setting.
joint that Dollar Bill versus K Venom?
No, that was a different card. The blue hue hat was with Justice and Shiesty Foe and Trufo and A Ward. It was like a slight blue tint to their
Yeah, I know which event you're talking about now.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And they have like a slightly elevated stage, which makes for a cool just look. But I love the visuals and I'm excited about that battle. This next one is actually interesting. Coach Corleone versus Foots. Where you at with it?
Oh, Foots.
You got Foots clear?
Foot's pretty clear. I think like coach is like decent. You know, I've always thought like he's not a bad battle rapper, but even when he got his push with RB, I felt like it was a little like, is this really a guy that can get to that level? You know, top tiers. You know, like back to back type of thing. And I felt like he kind of showed like he's decent, but he's not like that level. And then Foots has these moments where I don't necessarily think he's that level either, but
Mhm,
he has flashes, man. Where Foots, I mean, let's remember before I felt like so much happened with his booking positions he shouldn't have even been in that were never going to be win-win situations for him. Like
mhm,
he was on great pace at URL with the Jerry West battle,
mhm,
the Flair Soul battle, like, and even
mhm,
like recently, I didn't have him winning like the JC battle on URL as a man battle where he was like really, really good. So
mhm,
he's just like sometimes I think a guy's just a better talent. Like I could
mhm,
explain it in like a million different ways, but I just think
mhm,
Foots is better at this than Coach
mhm.
Corleone. So I see him winning the battle 2-1.
Okay. I'm a fan of Coach Corleone. I think he has a very unorthodox style that he gets to his punches. Both Coach and Foots were on Spot TMM's Crown Siege event, where actually Foots won the crown against KD. And Foots had an amazing showing with KD. Also, on first watch, I have Foots beating B Magic on TBL. So Foots is kind of on a run right now. It is in Chicago. Coach is from Chicago. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Coach is gonna win this one just based off of content. Chicago crowd really gravitates to the gritty material. I think Coach has an edge with that. But I just think I love the idea of them being pitted against each other because where Foots is a puncher, I think Coach is an unorthodox puncher, and just seeing those styles match up. I know Coach's style is polarizing and his personality even more polarizing, but I am a huge fan of Coach. I want to see what happens here. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Coach 2-1 because it's in Chicago.
I'm not mad at that. I think that's fair.
This next one is interesting. Didn't expect it, but I'm very happy to see it. We've got Di the Hennyman versus Young Cannon. Where you stand with this?
Handyman, wow, Handyman battle. It's one of those. That's cool. I mean, I got Young Cannon 2-1 though, and I probably in any other place
Hmm.
would have had Handyman 2-1,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I don't. You know, Young Cannon. I remember once upon a time people were like he's the most consistent. Why doesn't he like? I don't know. Yeah, I never thought that highly of him, but he's had
Hmm.
reps at like the highest level. Like there really was a point that the guy made a known. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Young Cannon did make a name in Chicago as well, and I just think the home game factor is like a big part of it. So I think there's almost like a guy like him that I think is like clearly past like his best contributions to battle rap. Typically, home games are the best way to evoke anything close to like what like their good or great form is. So it's just one of those. And I think bar for bar, like Henny Man, like when he gets to that gritty talk that you just talked about Chicago liking, he could probably get into that bag better than Young Cannon can. But I think Young Cannon is just like clearly a better like bar for bar battle rapper. So I didn't know Henny Man was outside, but I got YK21.
Okay, Young Cannon is definitely a vet in the game. A lot of people need to do their research on Cannon. I think a lot of people underestimate him. He's had some great showings. As you said, he's made it to Nome, which I didn't realize. I had to.
Nome
I
2
can't
battled
remember.
JC.
Okay, damn. I gotta go.
But once upon a time, he's probably like one of the highest ranking like mid tiers. You know what I mean? I mean that like a nice way too, where it's like he was getting like top all types of his resume. He looks like someone that's been here for like 10, 15 years. But yeah, he did make a Nome 2.
Yeah, well then salute to Cannon. I'm very hyped to see this battle. I personally got I'm gonna say Henny Man because Henny Man been on the run. You know what I mean? Like Henny Man has had some very good showings. He whooped on Casino, and I'm a huge fan of Casino,
And I
but
like
Henny
this.
Man got that clear.
He
I
really
love
did. Yeah.
Casino.
That was a really good win. And I know it's like under the radar in general, like the level
Mhm.
kind of battler we're talking. But Casino,
Mhm.
I thought has like been underrated. The drug talk is crazy. And Henny Man walked in there
100%.
and all the things I love Casino for, like as an artist and think I see potential
Henny
in.
Man did it.
Henny Man
Yeah.
just kind of like just
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep.
definitely a good
Yep.
battle.
So Henny Man's on a roll right now. So I'm gonna say Henny Man 2-1. I think
Okay. I can see that.
yeah, yeah. All right. So this next battle, or the last one we're gonna talk about is Drugz versus Shiesty Foe. Are
I'm
you familiar with Shiesty Foe?
wildly familiar. No, I know that he was
Okay.
like undefeated within his region, which to be fair, like
Until he ran into Justice. That's correct.
yeah, and that is like I haven't watched the footage like that, so clearly it didn't, affect me or am I you on it too much, but that's how you start out. Like if you want to get on the scene, like
Yeah.
you have to whoop people locally. That's really
Yeah.
how most like of our best legends got found out is like guys from Jersey whooping people in Block City or you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, spit that heat down south. So it's but I've heard good things about it and I've probably seen like a round or two in Pat. I've watched so much battle rap. It's hard for me to believe I've never seen the guy before, but it's one of those I just don't recall too much of his footage. But look at what Drugz is doing. Drugz is back outside, and I think
Yeah.
I can't really predict it. That's not fair. But if I had to, I'm gonna
Your
go with
money's on Drugz.
because like that's what I know I do. So
Well, I am a huge Shiesty Foe fan. I talk a lot of shit to him, but I'm a big fan of his. I've seen Shiesty Foe beat Royalty. I've seen Shiesty Foe smoke J Moore. And then of course I had Justice beating Shiesty Foe. But every showing that Shiesty has had, he gets better and better. His authenticity is through the roof, but he's also matching his rapping ability with the authenticity, which is making him more dangerous with every showing. He's headlining against Dreddy on OSBL. They each put up $500 for the Welcome to the O card. So he's on a roll. And so it's so interesting that he goes to Maryland and battles Dreddy, and now he's going back home to battle another OSBL battler with Drugz. Drugz was amazing against Los Prime. I had him winning the battle. Drugz was amazing against Justice. I had him winning that battle. Drugz is on a roll right now. It's great to see Drugz back outside. This is probably Shiesty Foe's toughest fight. As much of a fan of Shiesty Foe as I am, I don't see a world where he beats Drugz. And that's even with the advantage of being at home.
And I don't think people forget, he's really like he comes up with rounds in 24 hours and stuff. He's just
incredible.
A good worker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when he is around, like and I've been I think you and me have had this discussion about Drugz, like, at his peak, like I didn't think he was like gonna be a top tier or anything, but it goes to show you, man, like he's a pro. Like he's been a URO vet, he's battled a bunch of different top tiers. So when he's battling new guys on this like return run, right? You're seeing like Los Prime, Justice, like even some of the best, like there's something to being a veteran, having experience that like it can be two different levels, even if you think it's gonna be close sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, not too familiar with Shiesty Foe, but if Drugz is doing what he's doing against some of these like top new guy talents, he could always go into someone's crib and really like teach them a thing or two. So he's definitely lately.
I agree. Actually, there's one more announcement I just saw. This is interesting. Cali Smooth versus J Moore.
I'm not anything like too crazy, but
I'll let you talk.
if I have to pick, I'd go Cali Smooth 2-1.
Okay.
Just a way more consistent battle rapper. I think Jay Moore's consistency is really what killed his buzz, to be honest with you. So, like, there's things I like about Jay Moore's style. It can be a bit gimmicky, but I didn't mind him doing the same thing 100 times because it was fire. But he has battles he's not clean in. He has battles he's not direct at all in, like doesn't rap about the other person. And Cali's like you can actually quietly consistent guy. You know what I mean?
Jay Moore, it's interesting because personal thoughts aside, I think that Jay Moore is very talented. I think Jay Moore has had a few opportunities to build a buzz and momentum consistently, and something always happens to derail him. He was making noise at URL, it got off track. He was doing his thing in trenches, it got off track. But since all the mess at the trenches, he had a great battle with K Venom on iBattle. Fantastic back and forth. Regardless of who you have winning or losing, that was just a great battle. He had a good battle with Swervo, though I had Swervo winning. He did his thing. Jay Moore, the talent is there. The only issue with Jay Moore is just consistency. Him and Cali Smooth is an odd matchup. I'm a fan of Cali Smooth. I think he's very dope. Cali Smooth won the Bags and Bodies tournament, so respect to him. He's been doing his thing on the West for a minute. Definitely a dope talent. This is a random pairing, but it could lead to a very interesting battle, so I'm definitely tuned in. We're going to see how that goes. But for Jay Moore, I would just love to see Jay Moore stay consistent and continue, like, build that momentum because the talent is there. A lot of people have that issue of not having talent. Jay Moore does not have that problem. The talent is there. He just has to stay consistent and stay out of BS, and he can be one of the best.
Like, another thing, he is some doesn't work on his game too much. Like, there hasn't been like huge improvements or like improvements in like, maybe a little bit more direct angling, changing up the content here and there. You could be 80% of what you are. Nobody's asking you to change that. That's why we're a fan of you. But like you see people get better as they go. I feel like Jay Moore is kind of the same rapper now that he was, you know what I'm saying, beginning of this like second run that he had, or even 5 years ago. But I still will always be down to watch a Jay Moore battle. I just think that Cali is just a better bet to be consistent and be clean.
Yep, I agree. Well, I think we pretty much addressed everything going on in the state of the culture.
I can't wait. I'm sure we'll have another conversation if
absolutely
other big cards drop. So
absolutely, I appreciate your time, Smo. You're the GOAT.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is my shit, man. I just like talking rap. So appreciate you giving another platform we can do that on.
I look forward to our discussion about Wonder Man when all three of us are done watching.
Yeah, and I told you before the weekend's out, you know what I'm saying? We got the days off now, so me and her are going to head into the dungeon and get everything right. So.
Salute, Smo.
Of course, man.
Peace. Amazing.